Hello, YouTube. This is Ron reaching out to you from Central Texas. I know it's been a while. I've been experiencing life. There are those who are friends with me on Facebook, so they know what's been going on in the last couple of months. I've been wanting to reach out to you guys. I've been wanting to continue sharing my stories, but my thorn in the flesh, if you are not familiar with my story, I was diagnosed with leukemia October 31st of 2012. It's been nearly 6 years. I'm going into my 6th year in a little over a month. And from time to time, even though I don't look sick, it rears its ugly head and puts me in the hospital. So for the last 2+ months, I've been in and out of hospital. The way leukemia affects you is it's a blood disease, it's a blood cancer, and out of the blue, your white cell count, in my case, goes up. A normal white cell count is 6 to 11. Mine fluctuates between 40 and it's been as high as 232. So the way that affects you in a negative way is it makes you lethargic, it makes you pretty tired, and you sweat a lot, and your endurance goes down. It's also pretty painful because if you think about it, your body is well calibrated to have, like I said, on the high end, your white cell count shouldn't be any higher than 11. Mine generally averages around 60 to 80. So it's 10 to 15 times higher than what it should be, which gives me gout in my wrists and legs and ankles and stuff. And if you've ever experienced gout, it feels like lightning is going through your joints. It's a little worse than having rheumatoid arthritis, except your hands and stuff look normal. But on my end, it keeps you at a pain threshold. Well, on a pain scale from 1 to 10, I'm usually a 7 to 8. Once it gets past a 9, then I go to the ERs and I get taken care of. So, and that's what's been going on for the last 2 months. The chemo that I'm on, even though I don't look like I'm on chemotherapy, I have a port right here, and they can infuse me with whatever they need to get me to a point where I can tolerate the pain and get back to leading somewhat of a normal life. But hey, I've gotten used to it, and even though it hurts like a son of a gun, I do have some good news. In the last year, as you know, my journey has taken me from being an active Jehovah's Witness to being on the outside, thankfully, and no longer being under the tenets or the laws and beliefs of the Jehovah's Witnesses. So with that being said, I will be going through a bone marrow transplant in the next 3 weeks, hopefully within the next 3 weeks. My oldest child has come down and she is a half match, and we're going to go forward with this procedure to get me to the point where I can not just be in remission, but hopefully be cured if my body takes this graft of stem cells and allows it to multiply, flourish in my body, and get me cancer free. So that's what's been going on with me physically. I had started classes. Those who've been watching my videos know that I had started taking computer classes to learn how to operate them, to learn how to take care of them in regards to updating and pretty much any A+ technical support that someone would need. That's the classes I was taking. I was also going to get into networking and securities. But again, life happened, so I was in the hospital and couldn't pursue that the way I wanted to. But after this procedure is over with, it's not a, let me tell you this, it's not a 1-day procedure. You don't go in and get a stem cell transplant in 1 day. What actually goes into it is you go into it for 4 to 6 weeks on the short end. If you take it and it works, you're going from 4 to 6 months. So whenever that is said and done, Ron will be going back to school to get the education that I could have gotten in my 20s, but because I was being geared towards being a regular full-time minister and devoted my life to a publishing company, I didn't do that in my early 20s. So here I am going towards my late 40s, actually just turned 46. And I'm going to, once I get out of this hospital, once I get out of this transplant phase, and once I get the green light, Ron's going to put forth the effort and the energy to live. I hear people say that they survived cancer. I hear people say that they're fighting cancer, and I get that. I get those phrases. But from my stance, the most important thing any person who's dealt with cancer, from the family to the person who's intimately is touching, the one who's actually got to go through it. And I'm not saying, because I know from my wife and my children that everything I go through, they are affected by it totally, because cancer is insidious. But what I was going to say is that I do everything for my family to not just fight, to not just survive, but to live. That's the best advice I can give to anyone who comes down with any form of cancer. If you physically can do it while you're going through the treatments, even though you might lose your appetite, even though this thing is a crook and it robs you of your physical independence to a point and your joy to a point. Every opportunity I get, when my body allows me to, I get out with my family, I get outside, and I enjoy life to the fullest. And that's what I look forward to doing without being dependent on chemotherapy, which I have been for the last 6 years. Being not dependent on it was a medication to kind of slow down the gout. I'm not gonna name it, but that's something I've had to deal with for the last 6 years. That meshes your stomach up like crazy. It's supposed to help you, but it makes it hard for me to eat without tasting it in my food. So I look forward to the day that I can do that. Not in a new system. Not that I'm saying that there isn't a paradise for people eventually, but right now I want to live now. So I want to enjoy my family now. I want to get out, and I used to like running. I used to take long walks, and that's something I haven't been able to do for nearly 6 years. So I look forward to that time when that will be something that I can look forward to and do. So I'm already putting together a team of guys, of fellas that say that once I get out of this hospital, even before my hair grows back, because I still got my hair, but that might be short-lived. Once all those things come to pass, I'm going to get out, and I want to run a marathon. It might sound crazy, but right before I got diagnosed with leukemia, that's what I was doing. I was training for a marathon. We live in Central Texas, and I used to walk 12.4 miles 3 times a week, and haven't been able to do that. So that's one of the things I look forward to. I look forward to being able to get down on the floor with my little ones. I got 2 daughters under 7 and then a son that's 5, and I look forward to being able to get on the floor with them and playing with them without being at a 9 to 10 on the pain threshold when I do that. So I want you guys to pray for me. if you still believe in God. If you don't, wish me well. I also put together a GoFundMe page, and we're accepting donations in our family's behalf, from the smallest amount to whatever you can do. If you have it in you, or if you're not struggling super hard with the times we're living in financially, and you want to support with more, we are definitely taking donations. And I'm still, while my body physically allows me to do it, I'm out there trying to do everything I can to put together some change to help my family. Because like I said, the problem with the stem cell transplant is that I think that I will get through it, but what I don't know is how long I'll be down. Like I said, on the short end, I'm looking at 4 to 6 weeks minimum in the hospital, and then another probably, most likely, 2 to 6 months of recovery where I won't be able to actively support my family. And that sucks, because I'm used to being able to do everything I can from a man's standpoint, from a human standpoint, to support my family. And that's something that's uncharted territory for me. So, and on the long end, it might be, they say it could be up to 4 months to 6 months to possibly a year. It's hard for me to even say that if I reject the initial transplant. So anything you guys can do. I know a lot of you've watched my channel over the last year, and it's crazy because I'm actually coming up on my 1-year anniversary of no longer being a witness, which would be, I was announced, so I had my Judicial Committee meeting September the 11th, and they told us that night that we would no longer be witnesses. So that's coming up here in a day or so. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change a thing. The freedom that I have, the clean conscience I have, because once you learn tact, I'm gonna tell you something. It's super hard to sit in the Kingdom Hall knowing what's really going on behind the scenes. And I know that there's those who still have to go into the halls and stuff for their family because they don't want to lose their loved ones, and I totally get that. I literally have not spoken to my mom or brother, who are still active witnesses, since September the 12th, when I gave them a call and let them know that I was going to be getting read off for being divisive, not for fornicating, not for stealing, not for committing adultery, not for murdering, none of that stuff, but because I asked questions and got answers that weren't conducive to witnesses. So they said I was being divisive. But you know what? I have a clean conscience. I can move forward with this transplant with a clean conscience. I can still love my family with a clean conscience. I can stand up erect as a man with a clean conscience, and that's what counts. I'm no longer worried or wondering whether or not I'm in God's good graces, because I know I am. I'm doing everything I can as a husband, as a father, to be the best human I can be. And that's priceless to me. So do I have any regrets? No. If this situation goes from a human standpoint in a negative way, I've lived a full life. I've loved, I've cried, I've felt pain and all that stuff. So I've did it. I've lived. I don't, like I said again, I don't believe in just existing. I believe in living. And that's my advice to anyone who is contemplating or waking up to tact. And tact means the truth about the truth. I tell anyone, do your research first. Make sure it's right for you. And if you got it in you to walk away from this thing, walk away. If you want to stay in, hey, to each his own. But for me, I had to get out of there because my conscience just wouldn't allow me to do it. I look forward to making more videos. What I'm going to do once I do go into the hospital, I'm going to do a video journal. If my health permits me to, I want you guys to see me at my, it might be physically at my weakest, but at the end of the day, the reason why I'm going to record it is because I don't plan on giving up. I don't plan on not coming out of this on the other side victorious. So I want you to see the transformation. I've been 6'6", 350 for the last 6 years, and I could stand to lose some weight. So I'm probably gonna, I told my wife already, I'm gonna take some dumbbells, some free weights to the hospital with me, and as long as my health permits, Ron is going to be sitting up there. If their nurses don't catch you, I'm gonna be in there trying to at least do some curls, so that I can tone up this guy here, and hopefully by the spring, I got a friend who says he's gonna help me learn how to swing at pitches, because I played basketball and football, but I sucked at baseball. So hopefully that's a long-term goal of mine. Maybe in the next, if I can get out of this hospital in the next 6 months after this goes down, I want to learn how to swing and hit a baseball. I know it sounds corny and crazy because a lot of y'all been able to do it since you was probably this big. I can't hit the side of a barn. I got the strength. If I connect this going out the ballpark, but trust and believe, 9 out of 10 times I'm giving you a nice gust of wind. So that's gonna be a goal of mine, to get my timing down and be able to get out there and swing, and then be able to pass that down to my sons and teach them how to play ball. My oldest son can swing, but my 5-year-old, I'm gonna put forth the effort to show him how to play a little baseball and be able to contribute. So that's what's going on with me. Thanks for listening to my update. And again, if you have it in you and you can donate to our GoFundMe campaign, feel free to do so. I'll put a link at the bottom of this video right here. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the near future. Next video we'll make most likely will be me in the hospital right before I do the transplant, so I can let you guys know what's going on. And thank you so much for taking out this short slice of your life, this brief slice of your life, to listen to my little update. Thanks again. Peace, y'all.